In France, fans of Saint Etienne, seeing as their club was relegated, appeared to go after players on both sides. Chaotic scenes feel underwhelming as a description. Despair does not quite do it as well. It was flat out nightmarish to watch. The Washington Post reported Baramatore and his teammates had barely begun to celebrate when a large number of Saint Etienne fans ran onto the pitch. Saint Etienne players hurried to the locker room tunnel, but some appeared to be injured before they could make it to safety. Via the BBC, the defeat sparked a pitch invasion by angry Etienne fans, with many hurling flares at the main stand and towards the players' tunnel. Police armed with shields and batons used tear gas to disperse supporters. The club condemned fans who invaded the pitch following the club's relegation from Ligue 1, saying they are committing acts of violence against players and police. Many were carrying flares, while dozens of fireworks were also set off. Players from both sides were surrounded and had to be ushered from the field by security staff. Despite an exceptional and reinforced system of close to 500 agents, many supporters invaded the pitch at the final whistle of the match against Auxerre, Saint Etienne said in a statement. In total, 14 police officers, 17 fans, and 2 Auxerre players suffered light injuries in the post-match incident, according to a press release from the state service Préfecture de l'Eure. Police were able to safely escort the players and the 1,154 Auxerre fans away from the stadium. However, the madness continued as spectators left the stadium, with visiting fans unable to leave until long after the final whistle, once the irate ASSE supporters had finished their damaging spree, which also saw home players' cars targeted. France 24 put a lot of this into context, including going over the history of this past season and how there were at times some unruly Saint Etienne fans. Saint Etienne have already been sanctioned several times this season for the behavior of its supporters, and this game was played with one stand closed following incidents during the match against Monaco at the end of April. One fixture was played behind closed doors earlier in the season in November after fan protests halted a match in October. Similarly, a fixture between Lyon and Marseille was abandoned last November. The abandonment came after Marseille player Dimitri Payet was hit in the head by a bottle thrown by the Lyon fans. Now here's the thing. Amazingly, Saint Etienne's statement initially did not mention anything about the pitch invasion at all, just their team's performance. Then the shareholders put out this statement. We share the immense pain and sadness of all those who love the Greens, whether they are supporters or partners. This failure must be accepted. As major shareholders, we take full responsibility for this. Beyond this terrible disappointment, we would like to thank the management of the club, as well as all the employees and volunteers who worked with skill, tenacity, and dedication in a particularly difficult context. Then they finally commented on the 500 agents, the acts of violence, etc., etc. Many critics, including myself, found it quite odd that they wouldn't mention this in their initial statement. The game was the second leg of the promotion playoff final, in which the 18th place side in Ligue 1 faces the winner of Ligue 2 promotion playoff. In this case, it was Saint Etienne and Auxerre. And Auxerre won 5-4 in penalties after the teams were tied 2-2 on aggregate. through 2 legs. The loss ends an 18-year stay in the top flight for the 10-time French champions and a return for Auxerre after a 10-year absence, meaning Saint Etienne has not spent a season in the second-rung League 2 since 2003-04. The club set the Ligue 1 record with 10 titles, but the most recent came in 81. PSG, the league's reigning powerhouse, tied that record this year. CBS Sports' Jonathan Johnson wrote, with the Olympics coming to Paris in 2024, France has significant work to do to eradicate these continuing ugly scenes, which continue to undermine French soccer in particular.